Ratata, welcome back to another exciting episode of Career Corner with my exciting guest. But she's going to introduce herself and tell us exactly what she does for career in 2020. Mama, let's go. You can take over.
Hello, Sanbona. Sithu is my name. Mankosi, Mrs. Myeni, Mama Myeni,
yes,
as you like to call me. Right.
Yes.
2020, my career.
Yeah, what you do
for a living, I am a lecturer. I'm a lecturer at the University of Zululand.
Okay.
I started lecturing in 2017.
Okay. 2017. Because I don't know you. I don't know you lecturing. You have a background. I don't know you lecturing. Right. Let's just go back. 2017. Okay, fine. Let's go. 2020. Okay. Your employment history, what have you done for a living up until, like, let's say from that, since you graduated till 2017?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I graduated. I was studying social work.
Okay.
I am a social worker by profession. I graduated 2010. I graduated 2006, Ongoye. I graduated 2010, and I was employed working as a social worker.
Okay.
For the Department of Social Development in Richards Bay office. Then I registered for my master's Ongoye. I started in 2010. I graduated in 2013. And yeah, then I've been working since then. I was a part-time lecturer at the university, Ongoye, for a while, for 6 months, I think, back in 2015. And then there was an opportunity. There were vacancies. I applied, and luckily I got the job in 2017, and I started as a lecturer. So I was a social worker since 2010 up until 2017.
Oh, dope. This is dope. The reason why I was saying that is because I'm trying to kill this misconception which you went into a field where you were a social worker, but somehow you end up becoming a lecturer. People do just think, for you to get that position, maybe you have to start off as a teacher, then you graduate, and then you end up becoming. It doesn't work like that. You can, in the field of Seven Zagio right now, or any field that you might be working on in the future, you may want to diversify and say, okay, I've had enough of what I'm doing right now. Let me look for other opportunities and search where other greener pastures are. Okay.
Exactly. But you know what also helps is researching about your next move and knowing what are the requirements.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, I would think working part-time as a lecturer also helped me because I learned about the space and the environment of teaching. Preparing for class, researching your study material, isn't also fundise classini. What also contributed as well was the practical knowledge that I had as a social worker now. Masbuga, the type of students that we want. Sifunama students who will know A, B, and C. So experience ngaithatha, converted it into the classroom setting. Ngiyabafundisa ngayo, ngihlanganise ke ne-theory ka social work as well. Ekufanele bephume beyazi. Yeah. But it really helps researching about your next move. Ukuthi bafunani.
Okay.
Ngoba uma 2010, when I started off as a social worker, I did my master's. Researcher ukuthi to get into the space of academics, fundisa, lecturing, bafunani, masters was the minimum requirement. Straight hands.
Okay. So wow, even what you're saying, it's dope because. To me, let's say I'm looking for a job, right? I forget about you when you were advancing. Like even a person who's going for a job interview tomorrow, you can't go to a job interview not knowing what is it that they're looking for. Like there's a saying that they say, you cannot send the same CV to 5 different companies. Yes. CV must be tailor-made for the particular job, for the particular company. You can't just say copy and paste, ushintshe igama phezulu and continue. So tell me, in 2012, how are you finding lecturing right now with everything that's going on with COVID and everything? I don't know if you guys. I know my sister is working. She's at home. She's studying at home. And she's at home. How are you finding? What are the challenges that you guys are facing like right now during this pandemic?
there's quite an array of challenges, but we are trying to mitigate them ngawan, considering the location of our institution. I find in the UK and I find in the UJ. But as an institution, we are trying because one example, I hope I don't get into trouble for this. One example is that study material was sent via courier it's just an example. Study material was sent to my students where they are. They're irregardless of geographical locations. So that made it easy because others don't have resources like Wi-Fi and data. So if my study materials are there as hard copies, no one gets left behind because that's the mandate. No student must get left behind. Everybody needs to be busy. Everybody needs to be studying. Everybody needs to be doing something in order to make sure what their academic year is not wasted. Because that's the important thing. In a time frame, this year I need to have achieved A, B, and C. So by the institution doing that, I strongly believe my students are
Oh, dope.
So in terms of teaching, Nati, we had to get in touch and hands-on before IR, online teaching, posting study material, online databases and programs that were developed whose teaching can continue.
Okay, well, at least university students, it's more or less, by the time a person is there, they pretty much know what they want, which is why we're doing this video, so that by the time they get, a kid who's watching this will say, okay, I want to be a lecturer now one day, because it's a very good aspiration to be, because we're going to need teachers. It's not like because of tech, we need teachers. Technology is there to mitigate the communication. We still need teachers. You can't say we're going to just have like things and quizzes online and then that's it. We need that human interaction. Now, going back with the social work, because I haven't interviewed a person who did the social work. What made you say, I want to be a social worker in the first place to begin with? Because that's where your journey like literally starts. What made you choose that particular career before you even switched to becoming a lecturer?
Why did I choose social work, right? It was a personal decision. It was a personal journey. My father was a social worker by profession.
Okay.
So I was influenced by that, the type of work that he did, the type of clients they had. I guess I always wanted to kind of follow in his footsteps.
Okay.
And also help the community at the same time, because he saw all types of clients, orphans, war veterans, children who were affected by walkers. Back then, right?
Oh yes.
I remember, and there was something called a war veterans grant. Parents abashona in war used to get a grant or something like that. I was very intrigued by it. I reported for court. So I was always intrigued by the aspect of helping people, which is a fundamental element in social work, where we help people so they can help themselves. Because it's not just about helping umuntu. At the end of the day, when you let go of that helping hand, umuntu fanele akwazi ukuqhubeka ayisize naye azenzele.
Yes. Okay.
Sengajula kodwa uthi ngijike.
It's fine. We're talking, it's fine. It's fine.
Like for example, when we help people as social workers, we must always have a mentality of developing them, right? Hence they talk of a developmental approach. Yokuti, I will help you with skills, I will empower you. You can do things for yourself. Yes.
Okay. You know why I was asking that question? I was asking that question because I am trying to get it into people's minds, especially like a young person's mind. You don't choose a career because it's like a glamorous thing or it pays the most money. You choose something that speaks to you, something that will communicate with you, because it doesn't have, like for me, I'm not an IT person. I could have never, I like the idea of it, but I can never. I tried sometimes, some time back, I tried using Funde like code, and I was like, this thing is not for me. things giving me a headache. Stop there and then.
Yeah.
You choose something that speaks to you, because it doesn't help. You see your friends, because your friend wants to be a doctor. No, wants to be a doctor now. And then you go and you suffer, and then you become depressed over city. Money gets wasted, and all of those things. And then you speak something that speaks, that speaks to your character. Which, okay, me as ustoyini engiyifunayo, what can I do to contribute in society? That's why I asked you about the social worker. Then I focus on lecturing in the okay.
Yeah, because lecturing came years after I was a social worker.
Yes. So you weren't even thinking about when you were starting as a lecturer, as a social worker, you weren't even thinking, just if you could say, one day I want to be a lecturer. You just wanted to get this part of your career, part of your life sorted out, and then afterwards you get this growth. Obviously, as human being, you are a lecturer. I'm just a to qualify. I'm just a being a professor. We don't know, because like
I receive.
we growing and everything. So tell me, yes.
No, yeah, definitely. We need to grow and develop ourselves as much as we can, while we still can, while we still have the energy, while there's still resources available. You know, we need to use everything at our disposal. See, about our next move as the young generation. Because if you don't have a plan, where do I see myself 5 years, 10 years from now? You won't be able to do the things that you need to do to get there. Rather start now while you still can, and just work on it. But the one thing I can say is, guys, there's nothing that's easy. If it's worth it, trust me, it's not going to be easy. No gravel to that road. You just have to toughen it out, really. That's me being as honest as I possibly can. You have to toughen it out to humble gravel barefooted, but at the end of it all, it's worth it.
Oh wow. Wakhuluma mama Myeni madoda, wakhuluma. If you're a man, because wakhuluma. Yeah, wakhuluma, because those things you're saying, that we can just be joking about it now, because this is the whole point about this thing. It doesn't have to be too serious, but at the end of it, we're speaking facts. Nothing comes easy. Now, I'll make an example of myself. With these videos I'm doing, I was finding I would go, like the first ones that if you go down on the YouTube channel, you'll see when I would go and sit with people. But because the technology was available, like I was ready. When the technology became available, the technology wasn't there, which I wasn't thinking about it. Because for me to get the people I need, I don't have to go and sit like one-on-one with them. Now, let me try and find a way of getting the information I want related on this channel by not being there, but being there at the same time, if you know what I mean. And then boom, now we're doing July.
Business class tickets just so I get your show one-on-one. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm sorry. Maybe I need it next time. I'm sorry for now. Shame. I'm really sorry.
So, part 2 when I interview.
We'll do it. Don't worry. So tell me, a young person who's watching this, Kanjalo, not just because when you've worked as a social worker, which is very dope and you're very cool for these kinds of things, Kanjalo, I'm just going to take this opportunity. What advice can you give them in terms of like, what else can you add in choosing like a career that basically is suited for you? I really want to keep on revisiting this point because it's very, very important, Kanjalo, ukuthi ingane yazi ukuthi okay, yazi ukuthini mina as uratata, I know I'm not capable of doing 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. But this definitely, and actually going for it and executing it despite of the outside noise and cancelling the outside noise, because the outside noise is icon. And I remember when I was studying teaching, and as teach. Some people were laughing at me, like I had friends who were laughing at me, when the only car you're ever gonna drive is a Tesla. Wow. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I knew what I've always wanted to do, because I knew which my life will always bring me into this field, some way, form, and shape. When I was a teacher, I knew definitely this is the thing I want to do, but at the time I didn't know how to execute it. Just cancelling the outside noise and people so that you can focus on the goal that you have at task, because you are a lecturer. It's not easy. I'm sure now we had obstacles and people who are like, they even make fun of people like that. But today you're doing it. Exactly. Yeah, so advice you can give to like a young kid who's in high school right now, who's watching you speak, what can you say to them when it comes to choosing a career?
Okay, I'll make an example with myself. Mina, ngangifuna ukuba engineer, guys. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a geologist.
Okay.
Right? Not considering ukuthi kahle kahle i-maths ne-physics yayingishaya.
Okay. Sonke.
Ngangiphasa yezwa. Ngiphasa nje ngo-50 on the dot. Kuze kufakwe ne-foot stop ukuthi cha u-50 wakho noma u-40 wakho. Yayi-40 pass mark ngalezi khathi, right? But I wanted to be a geologist because ngangisemncane and I didn't know myself back then. My parents were always like, hayi ungayi lapho ngaze nga-applya fanele ngiyobhala i-entry test kwenye university ngengiyisho igama. Ubaba wahamba waye emsebenzini wangayifaka imali yokuthi ngigibele ibhasi ngihambe ngegoli ngiyobhala. I was devastated. But I had a plan B. Ngangiyifakile i-social work. Ngangiyithanda, but because the crowd, because my peers, everybody was into science. They were one thing or another. Yabona yakwa science. Nami nje ngifuna ukufitha in.
Yes.
But I didn't realize ukuthi no man, that's not for me. Because that's what we do as youngsters. Ukuthi we want to follow the crowd. Because really, when we are 17, 18, we are teenagers, we don't know better. That is the truth. We are easily influenced. That's why I strongly believe ukuthi uma ingane seziku exit go a high school, they need that proper guidance. Yomuntu ozobahlalisa phansi ethi listen, you need to look at your skills. You need to look at what you're good at. You need to look at what you can do for the rest of your life if you will not branch into something else. Or what can you do that you can develop into an opportunity ozoyenza uhambe nayo and shape it however you want. Like for example, Mr. Ratata, when you were studying education, this lento yenza manje is also a form of teaching.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It's because sikhule sazi ukuthi uthisha uma eklasini uyafundisa uthatha uchoko ubhale ebhodini uyabona. Kanti now as the years go by and technology advances and communities and societies change, to all the things that we had preconceived change.
Yes,
they get redefined. Everything is now redefined. I-social work kwakuyiyo back then ngekhathi zobaba, for example, isishintshile than what it is nowadays. Akhona ama-aspects ayo aseshintshile, some are still the same but are more modernized and modified.
Yes.
Because societies are also not the same. They are not constant. They are forever changing. So what I would say when someone wants to pick a career is you have to know yourself. You have to identify your skills and what you're good at. Akusithi sonke sizoyema university number one. And don't even feel you have to pass. You have to be able to put yourself in a position to qualify for something. Whether it's skills development, whether it's perfecting an art, whether it's training, technicons, universities, or whatever. You just have to know what works for you, what are you good at, and what are your skills. It's like uyakhumbula sisakhula nje thina ingane mingezwe eklasini uthiwe ifeyile futhi unga understand ukuthi that child has learning difficulties, for example.
Yes.
Thina nje kwaku mainstream schooling ukuthi nje uye primary, uye high school, uye university. Kwa understandeke ukuthi ingane emidinga ukuye remedial school kusho ukuthini lokho, chaza ukuthini lokho. Uyabo? Kanti now umingane okay, grade 8, grade 9 isingayi ingane iyofunda ama-ends ayo manje, iyofunda skills.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people that we know nowadays abayiphilisayo ngama trades abo.
Yes.
So it's the days are gone where we say ukuthi kungcono kunokuthi kuyafana konke at the day. Ngoba we unemployed graduates ahleli nama degree emakhaya.
True.
Now it's thinking outside of the box. I used to tell my students in just when things were still normal, ukuthi listen, take the very same degree and think outside the box. Use that degree to earn a living. Use that degree to make money. You understand? Use that degree as a business now, because no one is now looking for 100 graduates to employ. Why don't you create something for yourself to employ others? For example, Mr. Ratata, Tata is teaching yakho, mhlambe nafundiswa curriculum development, right?
Yes.
Register a company that specializes in curriculum development. Do proposals for departments and organizations where you ask, where you get funding. La wena usuzo train othisha on curriculum development.
Yes.
Identify the gap in whatever you are doing and turn it into a business. For example, I'm a social worker. I can even register a private practice. Kufanele ngiyofuna ama-guidelines akhona ukuthi if I want to have a private practice, kufanele ngenze njani. Then I must find a field engizospecialize kuyona in that private practice. Either I'm going to work with children, it's either I'm going to work in the courts, it's either I'm going to work with women who have been victims of gender-based violence, because there are high levels of women who are victimized and children who are victims of abuse and crime.
Yes.
Find a gap, use your skill, take your degree, turn it into a business.
Wow.
It's not hard. It's not hard. The problem is there's not enough information that our youth is being given into what they need to do. Because one who is doing it is trying to protect a certain territory. That's not what we need. Unemployed graduates. A chemical engineer who has made it.
Yes.
Also, chemical engineers, here is a gap in the field. Registering companies because it's not going to happen. I'm not going to go into all the politics around all of that, but it takes one step for you to be able to take 10 steps instead of sitting at home and not doing anything.
Wow. Mama Myeni, actually speaking things that are very, very true, because there's a gentleman I once interviewed, he does air quality, he's an air quality scientist. He said exactly the same thing, is that his degree can actually, rather his qualification can actually allow him to flip it and actually make a business out of it. He doesn't need to work for the company he's working for or for whatever entity. He can actually do it on his own. But he's young, he's a young person, so he's done it. But Lendo Shaw is literally saying exactly what this gentleman was saying. There's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity. Instead of saying, I'm going to sit, there's no work, there's nothing. Oh my, yes, pretty much. So like, we really, really appreciate people like you who take their time out of your busy day. I know you're busy. Number one, that's good. That is good. That is a good thing. Yeah, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your time. Is there anything you want to add before we end our interview? Because I think you've said it like quite enough for now.
I just want to add, whoever's going to be listening or watching this video is to just take time to know yourself, identify your skills. Be you an unemployed graduate, a youth esayofunda wanting to identify ukuthi yini ongayifunda. Just understand the trade ofuna ukungena kuyona, understand what you want to do. Have a plan yokuthi musuqedile ukufunda yini ufuna ukuyenza ngalento osuyifundile, either than looking for employment, because the times that we are living in now are not guaranteeing employment for youth.
That's true. That is so true.
Build a network of professionals or a network of people. Okay, there's a difference between a network yokusebenza and a network yokufuna ukufakwa emsebenzini.
Okay, can you please?
A network yokusebenza is people that you can go to and say, wangena kanjani la? What do I need to do? A degree yam, noma diploma yam. What do I need to do with my field of speciality ukuze ngingene? Lowo A we-information ozowuthola uzokuleada to u-B. Uthola omunye ozothi hayi mina ngenza u-A no-B no-C, awuhambe na ubone ukuthi uzokwenza njani. Ufike ku-C. Mufika ku-C khona ozokuleada to u-D up until you get to Z. Uyabona ukuthi that has built a chain of events, because what are you doing? You are sending out to the universe ukuthi I am starting my journey. The universe will lead you up until Z, where nawe sekuzofika umuntu ozothi but ngikubonile uqala, where did you go? Bese nawe uyamtshela ukuthi no, mina kwathiwa ngiye ku-B, but u-B didn't work out. Salo suqhubeka uya ku-G. Uyamsiza lowo muntu lowo from your experiences, and you're helping them to cut their own journey short, as opposed to a short-term strategy that's not going to make you learn. It's not going to help you gain knowledge and experience. Because at the end of the day, without knowledge and experience, how are you going to run an effective business or practice or whatever? Because udinga my best practices, siyawudinga trial and error up until you get it right.
Yes. Wow. No, right? No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is Zulu City on Ongeye University, and I hope this video of yours, it would really help not a million kids, not a million kids. They want. I hope
even one youth esafuna ukudecide ukuthi ufuna ukwenzani ngempilo yakhe, or one unemployed graduate ozothatha academic record yakhe ethi this aspect of imodule engayifunda, I am turning this into a business. That's all you need to do.
Yes.
Uhambe register free of charge, makhokha imali incane, imali singadlala abantu abasikhokhisa 1.5 ukuze basiregistera amabhizinisi.
Yeah.
Do it yourself so you can learn the trade, so you can learn how to do things, and you will appreciate it more if you put your own energy into something.
That's true. That is very true.
Because abantu abaspecializayo in whatever field bancane abantu abaspecializayo in any field. Uzwe kuthiwa uMr Ratata uyiguru yama-interview, bangakaba amaguru ama-interview bambalo. That's why it's important to identify that gap and then run with it. Abanye bazobe sebebona wena ususpecialize ngaleyo nto, whatever it is, nabo bazokujoyina.
Number one. I know. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your time, Mama. Let me not stretch you any longer. You've said unabile nje impela. Siyabonga kakhulu for your time. Awusuyaphela nanginomlungu idatha sangibekela kana kanjalo ukuthi idatha ubuyisebenzisa yakho. Sponsors. Yabona. Yes, thank you very much. Hopefully the kids, basically, because those are the people I really want to inspire with these videos. They'll take this information you're giving them and they will make something that will shape lives fully forever. Before you go, the study slogan says just Shala in one nation, a city, Ratata, Career Corner, Ratata. Go.
Ratata, Career Corner, Ratata.
Number one. Thank you so much. Cut. We are out.